The topic is the Africana Studies Department at Tennessee State University, and we had an opportunity to meet the founder of the department, Dr. AAl-Hadid, earlier, and now we would like to have the department chairman, the interim department chairman of the Africana Studies Department, Dr. Yousane2, to talk about some of the important things in reference to your department now, Doctor.
Well, since 2006, we were working very hard to increase enrollment. We are required to have 10 students every year. That's a TBR requirement. Because of that, one of our strategy, we discussed this with the faculty in the faculty meeting with the help of Dr. AAl-Hadid. We started a field studies program within the department, and we applied for funding, and we were not successful in getting the funding in 2006. However, we just went ahead and did the field studies. Our first field studies was to take students to University of Memphis to study about ancient Kemet or Egypt. And then also the Free Center, if you remember, in 2006, there was Ramesses exhibition, and we had that opportunity to take students to the Free Center, and that was our first experience in 2006. In 2008, I was able to get a little funding from the department with the help of Dr. AAl-Hadid. He was still the department head. So we took students to Emory. There was another exhibition at Emory University in the Carlos Museum. And then I took students for a joint lecture for about a week. That was definitely another important segment of the field studies, to have a joint session with Emory and Tennessee State University. Right, and we had distinguished lecturers from Egypt and from Sudan, and we definitely exposed our students to Nubian studies and Kemetic studies at Emory, and also I did lecture the student at Emory and as well as the faculty. It was a very wonderful experience. In 2009, we applied for funding from the university's international education funding. We were able to secure $30,000, and we took our student to Egypt. That was our first
trip to Egypt.
Our first research expedition to Egypt. That was really one of the
high points.
The high point, and in fact, Dr. Johnson made a statement about that. It was groundbreaking for the university to have this expedition, research expedition to Egypt. We spent about 3 weeks, and we took about 15 students. That was the most rewarding experience for the university, and our enrollment grew up, and thanks for Title III. And our majors, in fact, it's jumped from 20 to probably even close to 45 because of that exposure, and we were just growing, and we were just taking off. In 2009, we were required to audit our department by TBR. We did that. We were given 5 years. In other words, by 2013, to produce 10 students. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because of the current budget crisis and the current interim president. There was a plan now to restructure the university as a whole, and our program now has been recommended to be only a minor as opposed to a major, and that is our setback. We do not protest about this restructuring. We understand the current situation. We could definitely come back, but it's very unfortunate. This is just the time for the department to take off, and then suddenly this restructuring came about and became a little bit disruptive, and and that's where we are at this point. Whether this be implemented, we don't know. The TBR will meet in June and make the final decision about the current the recommendation by the interim president of the university.
And so, Dr. AAl-Hadid, there's a strong possibility that the Africana Studies Department will lose its status as a department and then be attached to the history department. Now, what do you think about that, Dr. AAl-Hadid?
Well, I think that is most reactionary, most unfortunate, and I just don't see the logic or the reason for it. Now, what was originally approved by our colleagues, a committee was formed, and we proposed that we merge our department with interdisciplinary studies. And that was approved, and that's what was recommended to the administration. So I think we would have a better deal if we merged with interdisciplinary studies. That way we could continue with granting degrees to students. There are students now that want to major in Africana studies, but they are being put on hold because of this pending decision to downsize our department to a minor. It seems to me that if you call Tennessee State a historical black college, and then one of the first things you eliminate is the culture, that almost harkened back to the days of slavery. Because in order to make chattel slaves out of us, the first thing that was done was to what? Eliminate the culture, right? So that we became bodies with no mind. Seems to me the same kind of draconian thing is happening, you know, at this point. That is an elimination of the cultural paradigm. Now, in other words, we're going to call Tennessee State a historical black college. You cannot base it on the composition of the enrollment because it's no longer a predominantly black school. It has to be based on something that we offer culturally that no other school in the state or in the nation offer. And the thing that I think we offer that is so unique is the history and culture of peoples of African descent. That's the uniqueness. That's what makes it HBCU, the curriculum, not the people.
And of course, over the last 36 seconds that we have here, would you agree that that if it loses its status as a department, that the correct place to be
to merge with interdisciplinary studies, and then we would not have the albatross of having to graduate 10 students a year. IDS graduates, I think, 150 students a year, and that would be a nice little safety net in order for us to function and continue sending students to Egypt, developing our field studies program, doing the research, producing scholars.
And of course, we're going to continue this, follow this very, very short commercial break.